we are, and it is day 8, something like day 8. And here is where we are on the pond. We're getting the gravel all dug out here around the outside of the pond. We got the fire pit moved out to the corner of the run out there, so that's a big thing out of the way. Now I can bring the hoe in here and dig out that section I have marked with the orange line there. I got to bring that down to 2 feet, and then I can start laying in my rubber for the next set of waterfalls here. I am going to probably head out to Lowe's or something today because I need to pick up some drainage pipe and stone and fabric for my ditch here. And you can see the ditch is working. Still have some water and muck in the bottom of my wetland, but it did drain out through the ditch all the way down, and it's starting to water there again, but that all needs dug out lower, so I'm not too worried about that. What I do want to do is get the ditch underneath the rubber over here all the way to the wetland, so I can get the rubber into the wetland and get some rubber down in here, and then I can overlap the waterfall rubber to the basin rubber. So there's a couple overlapping steps that I need to do right now, but the first step will be to get that drainage ditch run to the deeper section, so any water that does accumulate in this area gets pushed out into a problem that I can deal with later. But this is the next step, is to get the wetland filter all situated. So I have to dig out some of that wet muck in there. You see that? Yeah, it's all wet clay and it's heavy. There's some sitting water in there, so I want to get that out, get some sand in the base there so I can level out my snorkel, and then I'll put the fabric and rubber in there and hopefully get some of the components placed in there before the groundwater lifts it up and makes it bubble up again. But yeah, I did some more work on the stone yesterday and while we were getting the fire pit out, so the waterfalls are growing and I think they're looking pretty good so far. But yeah, we got some more steps to go, so we're gonna keep on working here. Yeah, we got the forks. We got forks for the backhoe, so we were able to move some of those bigger stones a lot easier, less back-breaking work. But you can see we still have plenty of groundwater in here. I just dug kind of a deeper hole right here so my trench can all drain to a lowest point, and it's working. So I bailed out all the water that this filled up with from the other rain. I bailed it all out with a hoe and dumped it into the grass over here so it can all flow downhill and away. But I started getting some stone, laying all the stone out so I can start picking through it and picking the ones that I want. But it's all coming together. We're going to use some logs and stones in here, but I got to get that drainage ditch done and the wetland filter done this weekend, hopefully. To talk a little bit about how I'm doing my wetland filter. So it's going to be an upflow filter, and let me get around here. I'm going to have my pipe come right into the back side of this 36-inch window planter that I got from Lowe's, which I notched out a hole for, pretty tight hole I guess, but into this blue water barrel. Notched out a hole so it can drain all the sludge right into the barrel to be pumped out seasonally. So that's what I'm going to use, and I think it'll actually hold up. I'm also going to use these milk crates as such to create a void space for the water to flow in and all the sediment to drop out, and that should give me a lot more extra time on this filter because it won't get plugged up as easy. And then I am going to, this is just a dry lay, I'm just showing you how it works, and I had to make sure I dug deep enough to set the barrel down into the hole so it's the lowest point and all the sludge will drain to that point. But I'm gonna lay my rubber liner all through here, then lay this whole contraption back in, and I'll fill in with river stone all around the edges to compact it all in and hold it tight. And I'll do a heavy layer of river stone across the whole top, and then a smaller gravel, and maybe even a smaller pea gravel for the very top layer. And I have my barrel set down in there, which makes this top lid about my water lines right there, 3 inches below my cold frame. So this barrel is 5 inches below water level, something like that, real close. But that'll give me enough space to cover up the lid with some gravel so it is pretty hidden and you can't see anything. Right, pup? Yeah, pup knows. So yeah, that's how that's gonna work. The rubber line is gonna wrap around here, and I'm putting this clay here because I need to build up a little bit of a dam, a weir, to hold in the rubber liner where it will overlap to the next one. And underneath that, where I'm standing, this will all be the drainage stone and a French drain put all the way through underneath my rubber, running out to the deeper part and eventually a sump pit. This is the perforated pipe I'm going to be using. You can see the little slits in there. So I'll be laying fabric through the ditch, then the pipe, and then covering it all up with the drainage stone and wrapping around the fabric so no dirt gets inside. Ooh, falling. So this is going to be the drainage stone I use. You can see it's all just rounded stone. I got about 4 bags of this because I think I need a little bit more, but I have that as some of the smaller stone I've already dug out is just like this. So I just got some to hold the pipe down. Then I'm going to go ahead and scavenge some of the smaller rounder stone I have up in the pile that I initially took out and fill in the rest with that, because these were $10 a bag and there's not a lot in that bag. Come on, puppy, my helper, go. So you can see we got the fire pit moved out of here. That's a big help. And I got enough perforated pipe to run the whole ditch over to the deep point where it drops off to 3 to 4 feet, and that'll actually be stopped right there. And a solid pipe will take that French drain water all the way through the bottom of the pond to the sump pit, which will be located somewhere underneath that backhoe over there. Right, pup? Yep, over there, pup. So I'll need a solid pipe, which I already picked up. Right over there, you can see that stack of solid pipe right behind my 50-something pound pumpkin. And I'll be using that to run the French drain water through over to the sump pit, and then the sump pit will have a float valve on it. When it fills up, it'll pump the water into my intake bay and it'll start overflowing, and the groundwater will drain right back into the sump pit and hopefully maintain a pretty healthy water level. We'll see if the idea works. Right now I just have a deep hole dug right there, so I have all this sloped and all the groundwater sloping towards that. So that's kind of keeping this area dry for me to work in. But I think I'm ready to pull all this out, pour sand in the bottom so I can easily level things out, because you want to have this nice and sloping down to the barrel so all the sludge and everything runs to the barrel. And then I'll put the rubber liner in, put all this back in place, and I think I'll be ready for the next step. Okay, I forgot to mention that in this window box down here, I'm going to drill a bunch of 1 inch, 1.5 inch holes all through the top and sides of that. So whenever the water gets pumped in from the intake bay, it'll actually go pump into that little box. Sediment, some of it will drop out, and then the water will have some place to start percolating up through and upflowing through all the different layers. So yeah, I need to pull this out just like that, little hole in there, and then in this end I notched that out with a jigsaw right on the line, and yeah, this end's still solid. I'm gonna drill a hole in this end for the bulkhead fitting for the hose to go into. So I'm gonna drill probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 multiple holes into this top and sides so the water can rush in and then slowly work its way out and up through my layered bog filter system. All right, I'm gonna get started. Here on the waterfall and pond build. I don't remember what day it is because I'm not really working on this every day. I'm just kind of working on it when I have time and materials. I'm actually in kind of a stalled period right now because I don't have any of my materials. Still waiting on them to come in, and the backhoe broke. So the backhoe is out of commission for this week until we get parts in for that and get it fixed, and I can continue on digging out the waterfalls. And I actually need the backhoe to bring down some stone, so I might have to bring down some stone with a wheelbarrow by hand, which isn't fun. Not looking forward to it, but I need something to hold my wetland filter in place. So I have my wetland filter lined out with the rubber, and then I got my barrel in there with the milk crates and the centipede that I'm going to be using. However, if we get rain like we're supposed to get over the next 2 days, my trench is already filled up to there because we've been getting rain. So if we get any more rain, it's just going to backfill all the way in here and probably make my rubber float, which I don't want. So I put in some weights in here, just some spare stone to hold everything down. But I need to get my centipede out, and I got some gutter rod that I'm going to try and brace that to make it a little bit stronger so it doesn't crush. If you can see that, I don't know, it's starting to buckle a little bit in there under the weight, so I obviously don't want that. So I'm going to put some rods in there to strengthen it up so it can't buckle, and then I will be filling in the space under this with some stone, so not all the weight's sitting on the plastic, it'll actually be sitting on the stone and the ground. So it'll hold together a little bit better than it is right now. But yeah, so I need to get that out of there, and I'm gonna get that centipede all ready and set so I can put it back in there and I can start filling with rocks. What do you think, pup? All right, he's out. You gonna help, pup? Maybe. So I was having a crushing problem with this squeezing in and buckling under the weight. So what I did was put these aluminum I don't know, gutter bolts that have this little plastic collar on them, and that's going to hold that from actually squeezing in. So I put a washer on that end so it doesn't get sucked through, and then that's holding in the center, and then I put a piece of wood on this end to screw the end in because you can't thread a nut onto that. So it's supposed to be screwed into your fascia board, so I just put a board on there, screwed it on through. So now this can hold a lot more weight. I can actually put some pressure on there. Let's see. Yep, I can even stand on this little box without it crushing. So it's going to be a lot better. And once I put the supports under the bottom to take some of the load off, I think this is going to work out just fine. So I'm over here at one of my French drains over by the perennial bed that we are under construction with, trying to fix the French drain and get it working again. It got all clogged up with dirt, but I don't need all this stone here, so I'm using some of this river rock to fill up my wetland filter. So I'm going to get some of this, then take it over and start rocking in the wetland. So this is the start of rocking in the wetland filter. Getting all the stone in around the outside to tighten up all the milk crates so they're not wobbly and they're square and level so they can support all the weight above them. Getting them all rocked in around the back side of the barrel too. I need another wheelbarrow load so I can finish that corner, and that'll be the first layer. And I'll probably do a whole nother layer of this bigger rock. Then I'll step it down to a river rock size, maybe golf ball, and then for the very top it will all be pea gravel. So that'll filter out all the different sediments of different sizes and hopefully keep my water crystal clear. 2 wheelbarrow loads of river stone in the bottom, and I got my first layer in. So I'm gonna leave it like that, see what happens when we get the rain. Hopefully that's gonna hold it down and won't bubble up. I got probably somewhere between 5 and 1,000 pounds of stone in there and sand holding it down, so we'll see how much hydrostatic pressure the water holds. But you can see it's already pulled up here, so it won't take much rain to backflow and fill up my wetland. I am working on getting this pipe in here, but the hoe went down, so I can't dig out this part here because I need this part to be a deeper end so the pipe actually has somewhere to drain. So I'm kind of stuck right there. I have the rubber across the waterfall right now because I don't want the rain to wash away any of my shelves and try and keep it all together. So once we get the backhoe running, we can do a lot of progress. I'm just trying to pick away at different jobs, get some other things done around the property while I'm waiting. A lot to do this fall, but it's gonna be worth it.